Hi Kings, Queens, and all in-betweens. In my last video, I talked about some of the 2024 Thai BL series that I watched, but I failed to mention one of the best series that I saw this year, because it finished releasing after I made the video. This series is Spare Me Your Mercy. Spare Me Your Mercy is a 2024 medical drama that was released from November 28th to December 25th. I'm going to be reviewing this series and discussing the reasons why I think it is the best BL of 2024. Fair warning, there will be a lot of spoilers in this review, and I will be talking about some heavy themes, so beware. If you don't know what Spare Me Your Mercy is about, here's a brief synopsis. Wasan, also known as Tu, is a policeman who is investigating a series of serial deaths in his town, deaths of all terminally ill patients. A palliative care doctor, Khan, is taking care of these patients who are all low income and about to die. The two of them meet and become entangled, and it gets complicated from there. I first want to discuss the concept. Spare Me Your Mercy at its core is about a human's right to live or die. It is their right to bodily autonomy and their right to access resources and healthcare. The series, ultimately, is about euthanasia and its complexities. Euthanasia is rarely discussed, especially in Thailand where it is illegal. The focus on death and dying is important because everyone will eventually die, which I think is a beautiful thing, but that scares a lot of people, which is why it's all the more important to discuss it openly. We don't often talk about the actual processes of living and dying and how difficult it can be, but more often focus on grief and the aftermath and how it affects the ones left behind. In the medical world, a lot of times patients' bodies are medicalized because that makes more money for the healthcare system. People should have the right to choose what happens with their bodies. I wish the series had gone a little bit more into access to healthcare and resources. They do go into this more than most medical series do, but I wish they had talked about how poor people are affected by the inequalities of the healthcare system. Another thing I really liked about the story was the fact that the main character is technically the one the police are after the whole time, so that was really fun. Speaking of characters, now I'm going to talk about the characters. Throughout the series, there are quite a few morally gray characters that appear, including the two main characters. Tu, although his thinking is black and white, much of his actions are gray, such as his using his relationship with Khan to get information, and in general his suspicion of him. Additionally, the fact that he knows the law is flawed, but still chooses to strictly abide by it, is a choice, and makes him a bit more complicated than he lets on. For example, Tu loves Khan, but will still send him to prison for his actions. Khan, on the other hand, was intentionally deceiving Tu the whole time because he knew what type of person Tu is, but he also got close to him originally to get him off his case. Also, Khan shot Boss, the antagonist, just so Tu wouldn't find out about the truth of his mother's death. Both of these characters carry around a lot of guilt, and I believe that compels a lot of the decisions they make. The relationship between the two main characters is one of the most interesting relationships I've seen in a BL yet. The actors, Tor and JJ, have incredible chemistry. I appreciate that the romance is not the whole focus, but a slowly developed aspect that drives the plot forward. Their relationship starts out with neither of them actually having feelings for each other, and instead using each other to protect themselves or get information. But eventually they begin to care for each other and fall in love, which I appreciate. The antagonist, Boss, has a very interesting backstory, and I think the point of his presence in the story is to be a parallel or a foil for Khan. Both of them experienced similar things at a young age, similar traumatic incidents, but they learned different lessons from this and shaped different worldviews. For example, Boss believes that he can play God using euthanasia and dictate whether a person should live or die, while Khan uses euthanasia as a means to relieve the suffering of people who are in a lot of pain, and he gets their consent and everything. Another character I really appreciated was Peon. I thought her and Khan's relationship was really beautiful. She was like an older sister or mother to him, which he never really had after his mother died. So I thought that was beautiful. And her character was very interesting because it was also, she wasn't perfect. She was willing to use the death of the director to help Khan. The last character who I really appreciated was Rin. I thought she was very suspicious at first. Like, I knew something was up with her. But she turns out to just be an individual also who was hurt by the death of a loved one and their premature passing. Her actor, Prim's acting in the scene where she finds out about her father was so well acted. The confession scene at the end between Khan and Tu was some of the best acting I've ever seen in a Thai BL. Both of them really exhibited what I imagine would be the true emotions that one felt when going through what both of them went through. And I think they did an incredible job. Aside from the incredible acting from the two main leads, Boss's actor also did a fantastic job. I truly believed that he was a deeply disturbed and traumatized individual. Sometimes I felt as though he overacted, but overall, it was really well done. Next, I want to talk about motifs. Throughout the story, there are two main motifs that are shown in the first episode and brought back several times later on to show that they have been present in guiding the story all along. This is the blue hydrangea and the song Rin listens to while performing autopsies. The song symbolizes several relationships in the series, including Director Somsak and Professor Pirot's, Professor Pirot and Rin's, and Professor Pirot and Khan's relationships. It's cool to see it surface in the first episode and reappear throughout the series. The blue hydrangea symbolizes forgiveness, so it holds multiple meanings within the story. The first is the fact that it is Tu's mother's favorite flower. I believe this means she is a very forgiving person and has never blamed Tu for anything. With these flowers, she's communicating that she forgives him and wants him to move on and be happy. Later in the story, these flowers come to symbolize Tu and Khan's relationship, as they bloom when they are falling in love and begin to wither when things start to go downhill. Lastly, in the end scene, Tu gives Khan one of the hydrangeas, saying that he forgives him. Which brings me to the ending. Disclaimer. I've been reading a lot of Reddit posts about this series and have been learning more about it and its meanings and conclusions, so I've gained some new perspectives on the series. However, a lot of these posts keep mentioning the book, which is valid. I probably would be too. I just tend to keep books and their series adaptations as different canons and separate entities. And since I haven't read the book, the series is my only impression of the story, so it's what I'm going to focus on. I understand where both of them are coming from. Yes, I said it. I feel for Tu a little bit. As frustrated as I am at Tu for arresting Khan, despite him forgiving him and saying he loves him, I understand that he's deeply dedicated to the law. And that he feels a lot of guilt for his mother's situation. Do I wish he could have said "F*** you" to the law and protected Khan? Yes. Do I wish that he would stop being a cop because ACAB? Yes. But do I understand that this is a realistic ending for the social and political context we are in the series? Yes. Though it upsets me, I understand it. And it's an open ending. Maybe it doesn't end the way we know it probably will. Despite its shortcomings, this series is one of the best Thai BLs I've seen due to its unique plot, compelling themes, incredible acting, and complicated relationship. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I love it when BLs are more than just the relationship, and in this series, the relationship was almost more of a secondary aspect, which I appreciated. Thank you all for listening and watching. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, leave a comment down below, and let me know your thoughts on this series if you watched it. And I hope you didn't get to the end of this video if you didn't watch it, because I'm so sorry for spoiling it for you. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic and safe day. Bye!